I am a fool. That is one thing for certain. Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Like, share, and subscribe. I haven't been on here in a while. I had a busy week. My son and I built this PC. You might notice I'm in a different room. I used to have my computer set up out in my living room, and I just got tired of being out there. It's like, ugh. So, moved it back into this room. I had it in here years ago, or a couple years ago, and then I gave my desk to my boy so he would have a desk. He's 17, turning 18 here in like 3 weeks, so he needs stuff to start getting ready for higher education, right? You know, a computer that he can work on, things like that, to do actual work instead of just, you know, play video games. But so yeah, I mean, had a wonderful last 2 months. You know, I don't know if you guys pay attention to my channel. I went down south to go visit relatives in Mexico, and just been having a really fun summer. Hope you guys are doing the same, right? So I figured I'd pull a couple cards and see what we need to hear. I don't really have any words of wisdom to say other than, you know, if you can be self-sufficient for yourself, you know, and manage your own emotional states, then you're not codependent. Codependency is kind of a word that people use a lot, but codependency has to do with, you know, external emotional support, right? If you're always looking for some kind of emotional gratification outside of yourself, we never realize that we have the ability to control our own emotional states, right? And how do you do that? You figure out what it is you would love to do, right? And it's separate from money, right? If you're going after money, you'll never realize that it really doesn't matter how much money you have. If you're not doing what you love to do, then what's the point? And there really isn't anything that we can't do. Money really doesn't have anything to do with it. We always, you know, our society's programmed to think, well, you can't do this unless you have this. Well, it's not really true. It's just the attachments that weigh you down. And if you can let go of attachments, then you're free to pretty much do whatever you want, right? I mean, if you're not attached to anything, then you can get up and move and go whatever, you know, you're a gypsy, right? You can do whatever because you're not attached to anything. That's when you're free, is when you let go of attachments. It has nothing to do with, so it's just the exact opposite of what you're taught when you're growing up. I guess I'm falling into this, my teacher mode just naturally. My YouTube channel is rarely just about pulling cards and without me just blabbing on about stuff. But I mean, it's true, right? You really have to learn how to figure out what it is you want to do, because when you have all the money in the world, and if that becomes your focus instead of the people and the you know, the way you show up for each other and the time that you spend with your family, your friends, and the other, you know, and you'll find that time is a lot less productive if those people, or the people that you're connected to, are all based on external attachments, you know, because then they're holding on to something, and then the time that you spend together isn't as good. So, yeah. Let's pull a card. Let's see what the cards have to say. I don't know how often I'm going to do videos, right? I like that one. Wheel of Fortune. Oh yeah, for you creators out there, you might notice that my resolution's a little better. I've had this camera for a long time, but my old computer, and that's kind of why I switched to a new computer, is I didn't even have a motherboard that could accommodate a 4K 30 frames per second camera. This is a Logitech Brio. And so I was always recording at 1080p, so the picture wasn't as good. even on this computer, brand new computer, there's only like 2 ports in that thing. Well, there's more than 2, but there's only like 1 or 2 USB ports that will take more than 5 gigabytes per second that will accommodate this camera. I plugged into like half a dozen ports, and it never allowed me, I'm recording on OBS right now, it never allowed me to record in anything higher than 1080p. So, I mean, I was talking to ChatGPT, and yeah, a lot of times they'll advertise when you're, like even on a new computer, they might advertise USB 3.1 or USB 3.2, but actually those are sharing a bus with another USB 3.1 or 3.2, and so it actually doesn't have the full bandwidth to record at 4K, or because you got to have so many gigabits per second to stream or record at 4K. It's quite a bit of data all at once, right? So there's only like 1 USB port or 2 USB ports. I think maybe there's only 1 in the back of this motherboard. Brand new motherboard. This is a Aorus X870E Pro Ice, like a $300 motherboard. 1 USB port that will actually allow you to connect a camera to record. And now it's got 2 USB 4 ports that would enable you to do it, but I didn't have a USB-C on the other side of this connector, and you can always buy that cable. So there's actually technically probably 3 or 4 ports on this thing that'll work, but only 1 standard USB port. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'll do a couple instructional videos on some Premiere Pro, and what I've found. So then here's another thing for you creators out there, for you guys that are probably not interested in this stuff. You're just not interested. But when it comes to matching 4K 60 frame video with 4K 30 frames per second video, right? I think Adobe Premiere Pro is probably much better at DaVinci Resolve. I wasn't having much luck at all with DaVinci Resolve, actually, with at least the free version. So if you are going to use DaVinci Resolve with your video editing, I would recommend, especially if you're dealing with 4K or 8K video, you're going to fall into, especially if you're getting sources from more than one source, and you're trying to splice video that comes from more than one source, you're always going to run into frames per second problems, or resolution problems. Most of these just frame rates, right? Because this camera only records at 30 frames per second, and my GoPro can record at 24, 30, 60 frames per second. So yeah, and Premiere Pro is the only one that I know of that really works and handshakes pretty well. It can actually so at 30 frames per second, it's actually doubling the frames to make it 60 frames per second to match the other clips. Or if you recorded at 1080p, you would have to upscale to 4K if you wanted to render a video at 4K, which is a little bit more difficult because you're adding pixels to each frame. And so it won't be as, it'll be more blurry, or has a tendency to be more blurry. Now we've got AI software to try and render and make everything look right, but even then, when you use that, I've found that it doesn't work that well. So, anyway, with that being said, you guys can skip that whole part if you're not interested. Wheel of Fortune. All right, the wheel turns. I mean, that's usually the ending of a cycle, and it's kind of a golden wheel, right? It's a golden wheel filled with a Wheel of Fortune. That's a pretty good card to have, right? Wheel of Fortune. What about the Wheel of Fortune? Right. I like this card. King of Wands. So, coming from a leadership position, right? You're leading yourself. Taking action. Masculine action. Well, let's see what that is. Well, that's good. Couldn't ask for better than that. These came out right together. 10 of Pentacles, for money, shared family interests. I don't know if you guys can see my little red tape here on my chair. My chair handles are falling apart, and I'm taping them together so that they stay. I love this chair. I've had this chair for quite a while, and actually it was breaking down. The bottom part, there was a metal bar underneath it that actually broke, and instead of welding it back together, because I had loaned my welder out to somebody and I still haven't gotten it back, but I haven't tried to get it either. They were just practicing welding. I was like, yeah, sure, use my welder. I just grabbed a piece of 1/2-inch plywood and bolted it all back together, and actually it's better now than it was when it was new, because it just has more support than the bottom side. So I don't want to get rid of this chair. I mean, I would rather rewrap these. Right now it's got red duct tape so that it doesn't keep falling apart and chipping away. It's like this old plastic veneer stuff that just keeps coming apart. Anyway, I don't know how I don't even know if I want to keep pulling cards. We got the Wheel of Fortune, King of Wands, so 8 of Wands comes out, so we're fast action. 10 of Pentacles, 4 of Wands, so we have family celebration, shared victory, and the 4 of Wands has got this couple that are sexually non-distinct. I think, aren't they? I don't know. Is that a man and a woman? I can't tell. They're blue and red, so maybe they're And then there's people in the background. They're like, "Yay, we're at a wedding party." Maybe this is a wedding. I don't know. I think this is one of the best indications of a wedding, other than the 2 of Cups. What else do we got? One more card, just for you guys' entertainment. You guys are in a really good place right now. I can sense it. And leaving old emotional states behind. 6 of Swords. Queen of Wands. So you got both your masculine and feminine will going on, right? The Wands is your will. So you're driving forward with success. Attracting everything you need by your will, and creating everything you need by your will. 2 emotions there, right? Creating and attracting. So what you create is what you attract. And when you're in your King of Wands and Queen of Wands energy, you're basically in control of what you're creating and what you're attracting. Pretty hard state to get to if you don't understand how to do it. But it's all about controlling your emotional states and leaving old states of being behind. Right? Fast action. 10 of Pentacles action. Wheel of Fortune. I'm not going to pull any more cards. Love you guys. I just kind of want to see how this video uploads. I know in the past when I tried to record a couple of clips, yeah, see, it kind of, depending on how close I am to the camera, it kind of blurs the background a little bit. So I'm going to run this through Adobe Premiere Pro and see what it does. I don't know. Love you guys. Have a beautiful day. And I'd love to see your guys' adventures. You know, I'm going to cover a different topic next week. Something occurred to me. I'm not going to talk about it right now. Love you guys. Later.